It takes courage. I think it also takes a couple other things. The first thing I think it takes is conviction. Do you believe and have conviction in what you're doing? And is that conviction informed? I think oftentimes we, or at least in the US, we see people that have a lot of conviction, but it's not informed. So having informed conviction, then having the courage to do something about it, and then having the will or resilience to continue to try to achieve that goal, regardless of what may come across your path or what hurdles you may face. I think those three things become very important. And it, depending on the level of goal you're trying to accomplish, you're going to need a lot of it.
And risk a lot, on the other hand. But it's for a big reason then. In the Netflix documentary, we've seen quite a lot about your childhood and how you grew up. Speaking in terms of sports, what would have helped you if you think of childhood and kids nowadays? What would have helped you grow into sports?
Growing into sports, I think one thing is we face it in society, we're going to face it in sports as well, is just racism within sport. That was something that was consistently a factor, especially in my position. Being a black quarterback was not the norm, and we're starting to get some breakthrough there, and it becoming more normalized. But there's a lot that kids have to deal with to be able to be successful in sport. And then the second part is having great coaches. Great coaches matter, and they matter a lot. And you see it everything from the youngest level of competition to the professional level. That when teams have great coaches, it has a massive impact on players. And you can have great players that play for bad coaches, and it just doesn't work. And you can have average players that play for great coaches, and they become one of the best teams. So I think having great coaches, especially for kids at a young age, can lay an amazing foundation for their success moving forward.
What is it that everybody can do to help kids, to help young people? Is it more pushing their self-esteem, their self-convenience, or is it equal opportunities, participation? What would you say?
The question is, what can we do to help young kids? I think it's a combination of all of them. I mean, I think foundationally, giving equal opportunity to kids to play sport and participate in sport, very valuable. I mean, it's a significant foundation of my life and how I operate. I think the other part on self-confidence is I think you can instill self-confidence through sport, and it becomes a very unique opportunity to do that with kids because sport is very definitive. You know if you're doing good, you know if you're doing bad, and you know very quickly. But you can also very quickly see the benefit of hard work in practice and dedication and improving skills over time. So I think with kids in sports, it's not always necessarily, hey, are you winning every game? But are you laying the foundation to be able to work hard and improve a skill and build that process as part of the foundation of who you are? And then you can apply that to anything in life.
Going back to activism in sports, what do you think, how is activism going to develop throughout the next decade? What is going to happen? Hard to say.
I think over the next decade, activism within sport is only going to continue to grow.
Yeah.
I think as we see athletes having more opportunity to control their own narratives, whether it's through social media or podcasts, you're seeing more stability from athletes in relation to partnerships that they're able to get by having these platforms, that they are not as reliant and as dependent on the sports leagues themselves. Obviously, those are still important, but the power shift that's happening right now it's extremely significant, and I think it's only going to continue to increase. And I think with that freedom to be able to say, I have more control over my destiny, and I'm not just beholden to what this organization or institution wants, we're going to see athletes speak out more and more about things that they're passionate about, things that they want to have an impact with, and things that can ultimately help the community.